Hi everyone, thanks for tuning into our fourth episode of Raise a Glass Wedding Presents Washington Weddings. We are here in downtown Snohomish in John Kaplan's photography studio. It's really, really cool. And I'm here again with Ashley L Productions, and she's doing the videography for the blog today on planners. So I have a planner panel here, and I have 3 other wedding planners here to talk about wedding planning, tips and trends, and all of that stuff with wine and a charcuterie board. So I'm really excited. So stay tuned and get some great wedding info after this. I have 3 wedding planners here from the local area to help me out on today's episode. So I have Deena with Buttercup Event Co. And then I have Logan with LCM Weddings. And then I have Whitley with Eastwood Events. So they're going to give you a little bit of information on their businesses and what they do. So check them out.
Hi, my name is Deena Lee, and I am the founder and creative director for Buttercup Event Co. We are a special events and wedding design and planning company in the Seattle area. We have been around for about 2 years, so this is our second wedding season, and we're super excited to be here.
Hi, my name is Logan, and I own LCM Weddings and Events. We coordinate weddings all over the greater Seattle area, anything from full-on planning to partial planning to day of. We are in our 3rd year of business. Just hired my first assistant this year and got married myself this year. So yeah, that's a little about me.
Hi, my name is Whitley. I'm the owner of Eastwood Events. We are located in Cedar, Washington. We provide day of coordination, partial planning, and full planning. We cater to the Whatcom, Skagit, and Snohomish area, and we are in our 2nd year of business.
Okay, so the first topic we are going to go over today is the difference between planners, coordinators, and designers. I get a lot of questions about whether or not that bride and groom or the couple needs to hire a wedding planner and then also a designer and or coordinator. So we are going to go through the slight differences of being a planner versus a day of coordinator versus a designer. So here we go. So I offer day of coordinating, partial planning, and full planning, but I don't offer design. So that means that like I don't really go and put everything together in the sense of picking out colors and all of that kind of stuff. That is usually what I leave up to the bride. What kind of stuff do you offer versus planning, coordinating, and design? So Deena, let's start with you.
Okay, so what we specialize in is special events, wedding, design, and planning. So we focus solely on how can we transform the space for our clients. So we look at things that are very visual. So we look at colors and we look at the venue and see what can we do to make it work.
Yeah, so that's the design aspect that, yes, like say I don't do.
Right.
And then about your day of coordinating, do you guys offer things like that?
We do offer it as a larger package if our clients want to bundle that together. Say, for example, they hire us as a designer and a planner, but they don't have a day of coordinator in mind. We can definitely add that to the package for a different cost. Okay. So we definitely do that. Whereas the day of coordinator, we would focus a little bit more on the logistics. So we think of things like time, what time will the cake cutting be happening, what time will the photographer need to arrive, so more like logistical types of things to think about. So we definitely do a blend, but we do focus on design.
Fantastic. And then Logan, what about you?
So I kind of do a little bit of everything, honestly, depending on my package. So I have, my biggest packages are my day of coordinating package, which is just strictly day of. Like I'd meet with the bride and groom a couple times prior to their event, and then I'm there the whole day of from start to finish, making sure everything gets done. I help them create a timeline, and then actually my other most popular package is a day of plus design package. So where I do kind of help them with the design. Most of my couples have had kind of an idea of what they wanted for their design, so I haven't done like a full-on like here's a design for you, but I'd love to do that. It'd be really fun. But most people come in with an idea of what they want. And I kind of just help guide them to what would be best for that. And I also do have a partial planning and full-on planning. Honestly, with my day of plus design, most people prefer that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, full-on
Yeah.
planning, most times I notice that the trend right now is that people want to design or do their own
Yeah.
weddings and then do a lot of DIY stuff,
Yeah.
incorporate their own things, and then
I really think since Pinterest, it's
Yeah.
really been a lot of
Pinterest
people. A
world.
lot of people don't want like the full-on planning anymore, or not as many anyway. They prefer to just kind of have somebody be on the sidelines to help them when they need with a partial or day of.
do you think that's a trend that's going to maybe change and that, Pinterest is going to be like, that's way too much for me. I don't want to do this anymore. We've heard horror stories about Pinterest and then it's going to sway to the other side and maybe
Yeah.
hopefully people are going to be more into like, okay, design this for me.
Yeah.
Build me something.
I have had a
Wonderful.
lot of people be pretty over Pinterest, and just like my brides this year, a lot of them are just not feeling it. They're like, it's too overwhelming.
lot of
There's
work.
well, and there's so many ideas, and it's so overwhelming. And they look and they're like, I love this and this and this, but none of that goes together. And I think that people will start using it more for inspiration, but less for like, I want this exact thing, because I think it really overwhelms them.
Yeah.
I think the hard thing with Pinterest is a lot of them are style shoots, and I don't think brides realize that. So they go, I want that for my wedding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the cost adds up, or it's not really realistic. So I like the idea of it turning more into like an inspiration.
Yeah.
I think that going with the Pinterest direction could be a little scary because it can not only overwhelm the bride, but they'd want to incorporate 1,000 different things, and
Yeah.
the expectations get so high,
Yep.
and they don't realize that all of that costs, $100 grand.
Yeah,
or,
exactly.
Exactly. Exactly.
5K.
Exactly.
So it gets a little scary. So what I like to do as a designer is say, hey, what's your inspirational photos? Send those to me and let me figure out how we can make sure it fits your budget, and
Yeah.
work with the vendors, work with the florist and the lighting crew and different rental companies to figure out how we can make it affordable.
Yeah,
So
for
it's
sure.
helpful, but
Yeah.
It's helpful.
not always encouraged.
Yes, agreed, agreed.
And then, Whitley, what about you? What do you offer in terms of, the slight differences between all three?
I specialize mostly in day of coordination, a little bit of partial planning. I do offer full planning, but I don't really seem to get that as often.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah.
I think like
I think a lot of them realize, they started the process, they've kind of got like their venue, their caterers, kind of their main big vendors, and then they kind of come to me like, my wedding's getting really close. I don't need you just for day of. I need you a little bit, I call it for hand holding.
Yes.
Give me a little bit more throughout the process. So I do those. I don't really specialize in design. I mean, a little bit those elements come into play, but I wouldn't really call myself a designer. I think one day I would love to get a little more into that. I think also the benefit for my clients is I also work at Skagit Valley Wedding Rentals. So
Yeah.
I'll put an initial appointment there. So it's also a planner and a rental appointment. So it's almost like a design element, but that's if they happen to go through Skagit Valley Wedding Rentals, and if they don't, then they usually just make their design on their own.
Yeah, and they have really pretty stuff there too, so
Yeah,
it makes it easy.
They do. It's fun. It's
Help
fun
with
to go
color
there.
schemes and yeah,
It's fun to
nice.
play.
Exactly. So the next question we're going to go over is, when is the best time to hire a coordinator or planner to help with your wedding or event? So we're going to discuss how we can help save money, time, energy, all that kind of stuff in planning your wedding. So, ladies, when do you think is the best time to hire a wedding planner or wedding coordinator?
I'm kind of all about get it done, do it right away, especially because you don't know if the person you want is going to get booked. So I do have a lot of people that reach out and, they say, oh, hey, I'm getting married, but it's not till 2019, and I'm just kind of reaching out to people to see if they're available. And I'm like, well, it's never too soon to book your vendors. And I've had it happen a couple times where like, okay, we're not ready to book. I'm like, totally fine, not a problem. But then when they reach out again, I'm booked. And so I think with any vendor, if there's someone you want to work with, it's good to just kind of book it right away. I also think it depends kind of on the package too. Like if it is full-on planning, book them immediately.
Yes.
If it's day of coordinating, I actually get a lot of last minute day of coordinating.
Yeah.
Like I did a wedding this weekend, and she booked me about a month ago because she realized, actually her mother-in-law realized that she needed somebody to help her. So I do get a lot of
nice
the last
when they
minute.
actually
Yeah.
realize that,
Yeah, and I think that's what happens a lot of times with day of planners. But I feel like just realize it early and then book them early so you don't have to stress about not finding someone available. So
Yeah, I agree. Sooner the better.
Yeah.
Because earlier on, you can find things that you realize that you want to incorporate, and sometimes it could be too late. There's also a lot of mistakes that you can make sooner. For example, if you're looking at different vendors that might not fit your budget, and maybe at that moment you think, oh, I gotta just make a decision. I'm on my own. I don't have someone's expertise to rely on, so I'm just gonna do it because I don't know what I need to do. They end up booking it and spending way too much money on an area they don't want to.
Yeah.
And so if having someone like us, we can help give that recommendation and help have them lean on us to ask those types of questions. So I think sooner the better. That way we can help catch some of those maybe errors in the beginning.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
I think we have a lot of knowledge too. I think the recommendations is a big thing. I noticed that especially for partial planning. That's why I get bookings for partial planning, is because they're about halfway through the process. Some are a little bit further than halfway throughout the process. And they're kind of realizing, I still have some blanks that I need to fill vendor-wise. I need someone to help guide me through the process of that, booking people, being with them throughout the appointments, and then also the day of the wedding. So I think that's a big thing, is helping them with referrals, because there's so many sources online, and everyone's, giving you all this information, and it's hard to filter which one's within your budget or which one is actually the best towards your direction. And I feel like being a planner, you have an idea of that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's nice too, because when a couple books you right away, you get to know them. Like, I'm friends with a lot of my couples. I still keep in contact with them. And so once you kind of hire your planner and they get to know you and you guys have gone out for coffee and cocktails and whatever, then they're better able to recommend people that would work well with you. So I'm like, oh, this photographer, you're gonna adore her. She's just like me. Or this vendor, they have exactly what you're looking for. It'll be great. And so I think that helps too. When you kind of build that relationship, you're able to recommend people, and if they hire you sooner, they get more time to build that relationship.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it makes a big difference when you get to know your couples and get to actually feel what their wedding's going to be like and what their family is going to be like. A lot of times you get to meet their parents or other family members by getting to know them, and it really makes a big difference in executing their wedding and the day that they are hiring you to do. So it makes a really big difference. Yeah. And then also, just like what you said, hiring reputable and really good people, even potentially save you quite a bit of money if, like this vendor is doing a really good deal if you're hiring before a certain time. So there's a lot that a wedding planner can do to help in those beginning stages of even finding like great caterers, and because a lot of times they already have a photographer and a caterer and a venue and all that, which is, they'll have to have a venue, but
that's the important part.
What's your date? It doesn't matter. I'll do it. So for our next little discussion, we're going to talk about what couples can do to make sure that they have the best wedding that they can possible. So what are some tips or some steps that couples can take to ensure that they have the best wedding that they can? So Whitley, is there anything that you recommend couples do or don't do?
Yeah, I think preparing as much as possible before the day. My first thought is the wedding day, they're kind of being pushed through the wedding day, and I noticed the biggest thing that I recommend is a photographer list. If you're wanting specific pictures, and most photographers ask for that, but not all do. And I think it also gives an ease of mind to have that ahead of time, so the bride's not running around like, oh, I want this family member and this family member with me, that all that stuff's as prepared as possible ahead of time. So I think any little steps like that you can do ahead of time to prepare. And then I think also just the day of the wedding, fully being in the moment and enjoying it. I see so many people that kind of, are being aware of me being there and trying to like double check in with me, and we've got it handled. And so I just want to make sure that the day of the wedding, it goes by so fast. So just being in the moment is my top thing that I tell couples. Just enjoy the wedding day. You've been planning it for a year, so just enjoy that day.
Yeah, and it's so hard to do, especially for people who like to be in control a little bit. Just to relinquish that control is sometimes really, really hard. But that's like one of the best tips is just it'll all be fine. It'll all work itself out. Trust in the process.
I tell my couples the same thing, and I tell them, I'm like, once the day is here, it's here. There's nothing that you can do. Like, what happens, happens. Just enjoy your day. Just have fun with it. It's your day. You've spent all this time planning it. You've put all this work into it. Like, just have fun. All these people are here for you. Just have a good time. And, I do get the couples that it's like they're very stressed the day of. And I'm like, you've hired all these people to make sure that things go smoothly. And for the most part, my couples are like, you got it.
Yeah.
You got it. I'm
Exactly.
not doing anything. I'm like, good. That's exactly what I want you to do. And also, I think just being super organized, like kind of like Whitley was saying, I've recently started having my couples be uber organized. Give lists of like where everything goes, you know, from guest book table to cake table to reception table to sweetheart table or head table, whatever it is, like put exactly what goes on each table and put it in a bin and
that's
label
exactly
that
what I
bin,
recommend.
and it's so much easier and they're less stressed because then they've gone through and seen like, I really do have everything, like I put it in here, I labeled it. It makes the whole day go smoother. I inevitably always have some sort of family member or something who wants to come help set up, and I'm
Oh, your
like,
family, they're there,
Yeah.
they're so happy, they just want to
they're
be there
so
and help.
excited.
They just want to help as much
and
as
I'm
possible.
like, perfect, here's this checklist.
Yeah,
like,
go through it.
here's the cake table box, like go put the stuff on the table and then I'll arrange it, and it just like makes everything go so much more smoothly. And also with that, I have them make an end of the night checklist of who's taking what, because I've in the past gotten so many calls from brides like, do you know where this ended up? Did my aunt take this or did my grandma take this? And I'm like, I don't know who took it,
I don't
because everyone
know.
was just throwing stuff in cars.
Yeah.
And so to really just like be as organized as possible, because it makes you feel better, it makes everyone's jobs easier, you know, it makes the family feel better, because then when the family comes and asks who's taking what at the end of the night, I can be like, oh, here's the list.
This is for you. This is for you.
Oh, you're taking this, and this person's taking this, and
I'm taking the
everyone's-
desserts.
Yes, and yeah, exactly. And I'm going to take the leftover cake, right? That's fine.
I think it's really important for the couple to trust the
Yeah.
planner.
Yeah.
You know, I know it can be really stressful. There's a million things to do, short timelines, but it's key to make sure to trust your planner, because
Yeah.
that's what they're there to do. They're there to take some of that burden off the couple's shoulder, and with that trust, it comes a smooth wedding day. I
Yeah,
think.
absolutely.
That's where it can get complicated when the couple gets involved on the day and they're
Yeah.
like, wait, the cake's not here yet. Something
Yeah.
is not going right. When it's like, hey, you need to focus on
Yeah.
your big day.
Yeah.
and
Everything's
let us
fine.
handle all the crazy stuff that's happening
Yeah.
behind the scenes. And so I think trust is really key.
Yeah.
Because it is crazy when they show up and like they're like, oh my gosh, nothing's here, nothing's done, what's happening? And it's like, we have it under control.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It will all happen in a
It'll all-
whirlwind.
You'll walk in
Yeah.
there and everything will be done, and you won't even remember that you were stressed out about that. Like everything will be fine.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, I always find the couples that are the least stressed and are like going with the flow and like, oh, everything's gonna be great. Those are the wedding days that are always like the easiest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
They let loose.
Right.
And they,
Yeah.
And it's so much trust, but they just like whatever. And even for me,
Yeah.
I don't know why, but those wedding days always go exactly to plan, exactly to
Yeah.
timeline.
Exactly.
It's always the more like laid back, they put their trust in. I also think another piece of advice that I thought of is like, it's your day. I know it's real, like I have so many brides and they have a really hard time with, oh, well, our mom wants this, or our grandma wants this, or uncle wants this, or has, you know, and I'm like, it's your and your fiance's day. Like, you know, if your mom is paying for part of the wedding, then listen to her input. But if it's something that you absolutely do not want, put your foot down, because I've had brides the day of their wedding be so stressed out and upset because this person was overly involved or that, and I'm like, it's ultimately it's your day. Like you, like leading up to it, I think that that's an important thing for people to remember is
Yeah.
it's your day, and
Yeah.
don't worry about what other people think or want, you know, just enjoy your day. And
Yeah. It's nice to keep other people in your family into consideration of like what
Exactly,
they
yeah.
want and how they feel, but yeah, inevitably
yeah,
it's your wedding. so
exactly.
Enjoy it. how
Yeah,
you-
yeah,
like-
no, totally.
So that's fantastic. I love all that advice. And then also what I would say is, yeah, like along the same lines is just preparing. So finding vendors that are matching your personality and your style, that are reparable and that are just great vendors. That kind of makes a really big difference, is you know that they're going to be there on time. You know that what their products and what they're advertising and giving and selling to you is what they've said it is. So that makes a really big difference. And then also just, yeah, being prepared and having fun and not forgetting like why you're getting married. Like
Yeah.
you're being with this person to be with this person, not to have a big party. If you want to have a party, you could throw a big party any way you wanted, but
Yeah.
it's about being with the person and making sure that everyone embraces and sees your love and all that mushy stuff.
All the sweet mushy stuff.
And trying not to spend a ton of money.
Yeah, yeah.
So next up are 2019 trends or future trends or things that we've been seeing, fun stuff around or that we would like to see in the area. So this is the fun part. So here we go. Deena, any fun trends or anything that you've been seeing lately or would be really excited or love to see in weddings coming up?
Yeah, so I've been seeing a lot of lavish arbors for backdrops that I have been in love with, and I've been seeing a lot of this past year. I would love to see more of it in 2019. What's awesome about an arbor is that they're dual purpose. So you can use them for your ceremony as a backdrop, but you can also move it for your reception, put it as a backdrop for your sweetheart table or for your dessert table. So I think it's not only dual purpose, so it aligns to the design and the decor of that space, but it's also just beautiful to have as a backdrop, and it's just easy to move around as well. So
Yeah, I like
I think
that
that's
too.
really cool. You can save money there too,
Yeah.
because you spend all that money on that one arbor, but you can use it in different areas instead of spending more money on 2 other spaces that
Exactly.
you have to fill.
Another great piece of advice. Reuse what you've got.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, that's a good one.
What about you, Whitley? Are there any trends or anything that you've been seeing
There's a
around?
couple. I like the idea of the multi-purposes. I was thinking like pipe and drape or drapery, especially in some spaces that are a little more boxy or need a little bit more personality or don't have as much like character to it. Ceiling draper or anything like that, you can do a lot with it, whether it's like industrial or rustic feel. You can use drapery either way. Pipe and drape, for like a head table or whatever, and then you can use different materials. I love the idea of different alternative dessert bars, which is what we're seeing a lot of.
Yeah.
But I'm also getting some couples that are like even more adventurous than just like the donuts or the tarts. I have a couple this year that are doing ice cream sandwiches.
Ooh, I'm feeling that.
Like an ice cream cake, and I thought that's cute because that's what they like.
Yeah.
And then I've had a couple this past year that did a cinnamon roll cake.
Oh, I love
So-
that. I'm waiting for like a baklava cake.
Ooh.
Oh, there you go.
All about baklava, so I've been like, all my baker friends out there, if you can find something, make something baklava, I will be your taste tester. I really like, I haven't really seen it too often, but I don't know how you would even say it, gender neutral or gender biased bridal parties. So on both sides, like not just like grooms and groomsmen and brides, but I like having the idea of, your guy friend being in your bridal party or whatever you would like to call it. I like it. It's more personal and it's not so, I don't know how traditional.
Yeah.
It's a little bit, different and suits everyone, I think. So I really like that. And then I had another one, but now I can't think of it. So, we're going to move to Logan, and she will tell us a few of her ideas.
One trend that I would like to see more, which I don't think is very popular opinion, is I want to see more color in weddings.
Oh, that was
Okay, good. Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one. I thought I'd be the unpopular
Bright
one.
colors.
I just feel like we had a solid couple years of like the white and greenery
Blush.
and blush and gold. I did last year 3 blush and gold weddings in a row. I was covered in gold glitter for like 3 months. I was like, what is happening in my life? And I think that I would really like to see more color and some of the more bold colors in weddings and bright colors. And I think it's starting to come and be that way a little bit more, but kind of just mixing it up a little bit. Kind of getting away from the neutrals and getting a little more bold, I think, would be really nice.
And I love theme weddings. As like corny and cheesy as some of them can be, like I'm all about the theme weddings. I love theme weddings. I'm like, these are so much fun. Holiday weddings or anything like that that's like very personal to the couple.
Yeah.
I really love. And then just incorporating family heirlooms and things like that into the wedding.
Yeah.
Or like the trends that I'm liking lately.
Yeah.
So
Anything that adds the personal touches instead of just like walking in and being like, this is a Pinterest wedding.
yeah,
Having those personal details.
yeah, like all those little nice things that make the couple the couple, and not so much like, oh, this is gonna look really good, but more like this feels really good.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the trend that I'm going for. And smaller, more intimate weddings I really like a lot too, where it's not such a show, but more casual.
Yeah. I also have to say I really like, sorry, I have a lot.
No,
I
let's
really
keep going. Let's
like-
hear 'em.
I really like that people are straying from, I think a lot of traditional stuff in general, but also like traditional food. I love seeing like the different taco trucks, we did a build your own burger bar, like seeing different stuff. And especially as a wedding vendor, when you go to, sometimes 15 weddings a year and you eat the same thing every time, it's like when you walk in and it's something different, it's so exciting.
It is, it's so exciting.
And the vendors get so excited. They're like, we get tacos? Like, this is the best. Like, I think that's really fun that people are kind of getting more creative with their food choices.
Yeah, we had the best wedding decision that we made was hiring My Sweet Little Cakes, and they're like little chicken stuffed waffles or like different dessert stuffed waffles, and they make them right there in front of you, and they did like a whole setup, and they were amazing, phenomenal, and people are coming up to me like, they were like, these were so good. Did you see these? Did you see? I was like, yeah, I booked them.
Yeah.
So I saw them.
I did see them.
So that's what I love, is just like those little personal touches of what.
Yeah.
And couples working together, because a lot of times the bride or the person that really enjoys the wedding or is expected to enjoy the wedding the most does a lot of the decision making in the wedding planning. And I love when I hear my couples discuss things and be like, so do you want to decide on that part of it and then I decide on this part? And they make like compromises, and it's not just like, sorry, that's what I want, too bad, tough luck. But like they talk about it, and it's really sweet, and you can tell like the couples that do really well together.
That work well together.
I've also been a big fan of the different color variation of bridesmaid dresses.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen that?
Yeah.
I love that it's different textures and tones of the same color. And I think that brings a little bit of a different kind of creative side.
Yeah.
And they're not all the same cut. They're not all the
Right.
same length.
Exactly.
It's like
Yeah.
personal to how they feel in their dress.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I feel like they're starting to get more unique with the bridal dresses. I wish they would do that more in linens too, because you're seeing more of like patterns and textures on bridesmaid dresses that I wish they would kind of incorporate that in their linen. So if they want like basic colors, like in a beige or a white or ivory, like do it in a floral pattern or a texture or a lace, or and I like the idea of the bold colors. So like either way, like do something bold or add a texture, some way just to
Or
so
a
it's
pattern.
not kind
I
of the
love
same
pattern
thing.
linens.
Yeah,
You
they're
never
so
see them
fun.
either. I love pattern
I love a
linens.
good floral pattern tablecloth, and you never see those.
Well, then if you do something like that, you don't need an extravagant centerpiece or anything,
Right.
It brings a lot of attention onto
And we're
the
seeing
table
velvet.
anyways. Yeah, I love the
Velvet. One, so I think velvet's
I love
so
that.
fun.
I think it's like coming up. I think we're gonna start seeing
Maybe
it a lot more.
2019.
Yeah, maybe
2019
2019 or maybe like winter weddings this year will really rock
Yeah.
the velvet. I think it's more of a fall winter thing, but I've seen that a little bit too, and it's really cute.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a wrap. Thank you for tuning in to our 4th episode of Raise a Glass Wedding Presents Washington Weddings. I hope you guys learned a lot and you got some really useful information out of the video. We had some great planners here today, and if you have any questions or anything, just let us know. All of their information is going to be in the description listed below. So if you have any questions, leave them here. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook. So thanks, guys. See you next time.